Alright, I have a baby with me. I'll try and cut out if he cries, hopefully he falls asleep. But we got quite a bit of a drive here, and we'll see how FSD does. This could be upwards of an hour, so I'll fast forward it and just call out any errors or specific successes. And always be careful. I noticed someone I subscribed to, a new FSD tester, does what I do a lot, and I'll engage FSD as I'm sitting at a light or about to make a turn when I'm stationary. But when you do that, you have to be prepared for the Tesla to begin driving on its own. I've had it immediately take off at a light. I've had it immediately turn onto a road, because I gave it permission, and it doesn't know that I'm waiting for anything in particular. So just be careful when you engage out there. This will be a good test. This is a very blind kind of turn. It'll have to get so far in the lane, it'll use the blind spot repeater camera probably to look for traffic. I'll definitely be on guard for this. I have to look all the way back towards the pillar to see out the window. There we go. I think I'm going to give it a little bit of gas there because that is such a blind turn. I don't know if it could have seen that oncoming traffic out of that light, so I did give it a little bit of assistance there, but it made a good choice. As soon as we get in this parking lot, I'll take over. It will not do the drive-through line. Not yet. Maybe one day, but I'll take over from here. All right. Let's see what happens. It's a good day when the Chick-fil-A fries are hot and salted. sometimes these late lane changes bother me. Like, why isn't it already getting over in the right lane? Now it's gonna have to get over twice. Once in the right lane, once in the merge lane, like the exit lane. Which is fine, it's clear. Not knocking it, saying that wasn't it, but I don't know of anyone that rides the left lane that long when they're about to exit. Handled that exit beautifully at right speed. It wasn't too fast. It didn't feel like I was leaning to the side. Handled that exit very well. Very nice. So what it did there is it sped up pretty significantly on its own, put on the turn signal to get over in front of that car, and then slowed back down. That's a very sharp turn to get in this lane. Did not need to be that harsh. On the heels of a success, a not so great event. It, still here, still good, but that was, I'll see if I can put a replay up maybe if it shows it, but that was a very hard turn to follow the right lane as we get off here. Right. And we will auto park it. This first half of our drive is essentially over after we park, and then it'll be the second half. So far, so good. As expected. Full self-driving is really a beautiful product for what little issues we can find here and there, little faults that they need to fix. Overall, it's just truly amazing what it can do. And there we are. See you on the second video. Alright, here we go for the return trip. This is a large gap. Thankfully it's a pretty quiet road, but we've got to get to the median. I was wondering if it would stop halfway. It didn't need to, but I do wonder how it would handle that in a high traffic environment. Would it try and get across one lane, rest in the median, and then try for the rest? Be interesting when I get to that scenario. Alright, if we go, we gotta go. There's a car coming. There we go. Okay, whoa, what is it? It's like, oh, it's interesting. I'll make some highlights in the video, but it slowed down substantially in the straight through lane, like on the interstate or on that highway. It hit the brakes and just started slowing down right in the lane before it got over. And there was no need to do that. I don't know if it felt like it was approaching the exit at too high a speed. That's one of those small things I have full confidence will be smoothed out in the next few updates, because the jump from 12.3 to 12.5 was tremendous in terms of confidence. And I don't even think it needs more confidence. I think FSD just needs more experience to go with that confidence, and I truly think we'll get there with the next updates. I don't know why it didn't update the new cruise control to go along with the new speed limit. Maybe it's a little bug or something they need to work out with the next few releases. You know, I heard someone commented and showed Dan O'Dowd using one of my videos as a reference, and from what I understand, this guy works for maybe Waymo or something, and so he's just a Tesla hater, and he's always looking to undermine confidence in Tesla full self-driving on social media. So anyway, someone like that might take this video and, you know, try and point out the negatives, and what I just want to point out is I have a lot of confidence and admiration and really love for the Tesla full self-driving software. I think it's tremendous. I think it's the future. I have half a mind to think that some of my kids won't even need to drive anymore. I don't know what the Tesla's doing here. Maybe it doesn't know that this lane will end too, but probably doesn't. So I'm going to speed up, because this lane will end as well, and that van did not look like it was going to be moving. So to break that stalemate. I think the car probably would have handled that pretty well on its own, but I've got my infant in the car and now my cat. So sometimes, for the sake of caution, I'll make some adjustments. Anyways, so I know some of my videos lately highlight some of the flaws. Quite frankly, that's because nobody wants to see just boring, endless driving with no issues. Kind of like my job. I work in IT. I work in infrastructure technology. So things that run other platforms and applications. And if I do my job exceedingly well, nobody notices because there's no outages. And it's the same thing. Full self-driving nails the driving aspect. 98% of the time, I have to do nothing. And it's tremendous, but people don't respond to that. You know, it gets boring, monotonous to just see endless driving with no excitement. So I tend to point out the places where uh, things have not gone perfect, because at least that's something happening. But I will make it a conscious point to point out some of the good things that happens, like when it gets a merge right, or when it gets a lane change right, or when it corrects navigation or deals with construction or temporary traffic changes. So all that was a long-winded way of saying, despite whether or not my videos are linked to someone like Dan O'Dowd or anyone else who's trying to cast aspersions at Tesla and full self-driving, I myself, as the creator of this channel and of these videos, love Tesla. I love full self-driving, and I definitely think it's the future. And that bug hits so hard, that's not going to come out until I scrub it. That's disgusting. Okay, so that was a good lane change. One thing I would like as a feature add to full self-driving would be, as a preference, and again, maybe this is only a preference. I mean, once all cars are self-driving, then they'll talk to each other and human preferences won't matter. But one feature I would like right now as a preference would be to set, it's confused. Look, I had to take over right there. Hang on, I actually had to take over there. It seemed confused on how to take that exit. I've taken an exit similar to that before, where the lane both goes straight or you can go off to the side. Um, I was talking and I wasn't paying too much attention, so I'll have to look back at the video and see what may have caused that. You know what? Let me grab a dash cam of that. I'll check the cameras too. I don't know why I was confused there, because I've seen it handle that situation before. Okay, back to driving. Okay. So one feature I would like to see as a preference is to be able to set the distance. That guy wasn't watching. He almost hit me. That red truck. Take another dash cam. That red truck was not paying attention and almost hit me. Thankfully I was going fast enough. Like I said, the feature. We'll be able to set a preference on how far back from an exit I would like the Tesla to start merging over. Because it seems to wait to, gosh, maybe a tenth or 2/10 of a mile before getting over, if possible, even if it's in the far left lane. So I would like a preference to say, hey, if a mile or a half a mile, like I want you to start getting towards that exit lane and preparing to exit that far back. Because there's a lot of times I would prefer the Tesla to be in the right lane, about a mile or so back, so that there's less pressure to make the exit in case of sudden traffic surges or changes. And its default behavior seems to be only when it gets to about a quarter mile, 2/10 of a mile, does it start making its way over or even thinking about it. And that's just bad planning, especially when dealing with human drivers. So give me a thumbs up, make a comment. Do you agree? Maybe I'll find some way to add a poll or just putting a comment. And what are your thoughts on a feature like that? Maybe I can propose it on X and see if it can get any traction. And since I saved the dash cam clips, I know in my Tesla cam video I mentioned how right now it's a tiny USB stick plug directly in at the bottom of the glove box, very hard to reach, and I recommended getting some kind of short USB extension cable to plug it in, so that you're not always having to reach in there and pull it out and plug it up in a very difficult to reach spot. So what I'll do is, up here in the corner, I will put a cable that I just got today off of Amazon. I think it was only like $5 or $6. A little lane change fake out there. And so far it works beautifully. I've plugged it in, I've viewed dash cam footage, I have just saved 2 clips, and there appears to be no issues. And it's going to be great because now I can take the USB drive out of that extender, take it into the house, put it back in without all the fuss of this really tiny glove box. I wonder if it'll go around. Yeah, it will. I was just about to tell it to go around this truck, and it did it on its own. Very nice. Slowing down decently on that road. There was a car behind me. Not horrible. I would have probably gotten in the lane and then braked a little harder in the turning lane. Lots of cars. Why don't we play it safe? There we go. So that's like a small thing that you'll notice with self-driving, and I don't think it's anything wrong with self-driving. I think it's just something that we as humans have to get used to, but it will be a little bit more cautious by default. It's not quite as risky as a human. Maybe that's a good thing. But you'll find yourself a lot of times thinking, we definitely could have made that if it had kept going. And you'll find yourself sitting for a few extra seconds or minutes maybe, but it's still safe. It's still getting you there. And I think when self-driving really takes off and it's very prevalent and a lot of people have cars, and then all the cars talk to each other and communicate, you're not going to notice. You're just not going to be paying attention to the road once it's unsupervised, and you'll just be having conversations or doing whatever. And you won't really care if you could have made that gap in 10 seconds or not, because you'll just be trusting the car doing everything for you, and you'll have your mind preoccupied on other things. And I think that'll be a pretty cool future when we get there. Interesting thing is that this is gonna, now I gotta go across 4 lanes of traffic plus a median lane with no light. So we'll see how well it does, how long we sit. Because the Tesla knows navigation. It doesn't know traffic and traffic timelines, and what kind of visibility options you have. And I will definitely be prepared to take over here. I'm gonna Have my foot covering the brake just in case. Looks like we can go after this white van. Looks like we're clear both sides. It should start going. You know what? Handled that beautifully, quite frankly. Alright, and with that we'll call this video done, this trip done. I'll see you next time. Please like, subscribe, and leave some comments.